Hello everyone, welcome back to another free-for-all Warhammer battle. This is going to be the Lizardmen versus two High Elves and Lizardmen. So no love for the Dark Elves or the Skaven in this one. My front line is going to consist of the very basic Saurus Warriors with no shields, no spears, just the very basics. They have pretty crappy melee stats for a unit that costs as much as they do, but they do have decent amount of armor and they have a very high weapon strength. But still, their weapon sets are like it's just kind of bad. It's like worse than a generic footman of the Empire, because I think the footman is 34, 34. These are 28, 28, but still, they're a decent melee front line. They hit hard whenever they do hit, so that's my front line for those. Behind them is going to be the bulk of our Dino forces, which comes with two Bastiladons with solar engines, one on each flank. They're like normal Bastiladons, but with a giant laser on the back of it that grants the blinded debuff to any unit that they hit, so you're going to severely lower an enemy's melee attack and defense for 10 seconds. On top of that, they do provide fear and terror, and their range damage is not bad. I wish it was armor piercing, but I mean, you can't have everything. They are still relatively cheap, too. So yeah, I got two of those. We have two Kroxigors, which share in the Saurus Warriors with their crappy melee stats. Right now, their melee defense is actually being buffed by an item that Mazdamundi has, but without that, they're 26 and 26. They still do hit really hard. They have the anti-infantry bonus of 18. So if you have them against their ideal target, they will be getting a lot of hits in. If you have them going up against any large unit, though, you're going to have to rely on their 26 melee attack, which is not that good. But they also do have 100 armor, but they can go on Rampage, which sucks. Rampage just sucks across the board, really. I wish they kind of had like some kind of buff. Like if they were rampaging, they would have like a leadership buff or something. But yeah, anyway, being led by Lord Mazdamundi on his unique mount, I have the spells the Net of Anmentok, Comet of Cassandora, and then the Apotheosis. On top of that, he comes with the Shield of the Old Ones, which is that giant blue bubble which increases leadership and magical resistance. He comes with Banishment, because I think all Slans do. 2 charges of the Banishment spell. And then his unique ability here is the Ruination of Cities, which is that wind spell that you can't really designate which way it goes. It just goes off in 3 random directions. Still pretty good ability. On top of that, we have Cold-Blooded, because all of the leadership does for Lizardmen. Sunburst Standard, which is what I mentioned before, grants missile resistance and a 9 melee defense to units around him. And then Greater Arcane Conduits, Fire While Moving, and all this other kind of, no-nonsense stuff. Mazdamundi is a really solid legendary leader, especially when you put him on the Stegodon, because he can crush melee forces, as most of the Dinos can. So that's going to be the bulk of my Dino forces, except for this Bastiladon with the Revivification Crystal. I'm pretty sure you're going to be seeing these things in almost every single battle with the Lizards, because it's just a really good unit. It has 10 charges of a really good heal spell. On top of that, it does really good damage. In melee, it's very tanky with 140 armor, just like all Bastiladons are, so I think it's kind of a standard unit at this point. Off on the side, we do have 3 skink cohorts, the very cheapy cohorts, and then also 2 chameleon skinks, which are the Vanguard, Fire While Moving, and Stalking chameleon skirmishers. They have, I believe, the highest missile damage of the skink line with 23 poison damage. They also poison in melee. Their melee stats are not amazing. They basically shared with a skink cohort, but they cost a little bit more than the skink cohort. But they are also a pretty cool unit. They're pretty fast, and I like the chameleon skinks. The idea of the skink hordes over here was to threaten the high elf player over here, try and get into their archers. That's not going to happen, but that is why I have them grouped up right here, because I want to try and get them into the forest, hide, and surprise ambush them. And then last but not least, flying above my army are going to be 2 of the Skink Chiefs. I really like this setup. The Skink Chiefs on the Pterodons, they just rain poison damage on any unit that you need them to. They do a lot of damage. They also still have 1 charge of the Drop Rocks, which is a pretty good small AoE ability. And then I both gave them the War Drum of Zaotek, which increases leadership, charge speed, and charge bonus and speed of any units underneath them and within their area of influence, as long as they are not engaged in melee. Which is why I don't really bring the Skink Chiefs on Stegodons, I think is what the other unit that they can grab. I mean, they're still great on Stegodons, because it's a damn Stegodon, and Stegodons are great. But I don't know, I like 2 Skink Chiefs flying above the army, just going pew 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 with their massive poison damage, and I don't know, I like it. I don't know. I like it. Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention in the very back is a Feral Carnosaur, by the way. It's my anti-large unit that I brought for this army, because I didn't bring any Temple Guards, so we have to rely on the Feral Carnosaur to kill any high or large armored creature, which there will be a few of because the enemy is lizards over here. So we have a front line of 3 Saurus Warriors, the shielded version, so their melee defense is increased a little bit more. And then they have a very similar setup, actually. They also brought 2 Bastiladons with the solar engines, 1 on each flank there and there. They bought the Pristillodon with the Revivification Crystal. The leadership is going to be Krokgar, though, on the Carnosaur, so they have massive amount of damage potential there. They also brought one Temple Guard, which are the very buffy... They're Vampire Slayers, which are the very buff, defensive-oriented Halberd infantry that also comes with shields, so that's kind of their unique thing. Halberds with shields is not something you really see in this game, except for with the Temple Guard. They're a really cool unit. Very expensive, but really cool. And I believe they also brought 2 Skink Skirmishers, one right here. This is kind of like the one down from the Chameleon Skink, so you can see that their missile damage is actually lower. They also have lower melee stats, and they are not stalking. So it's kind of a big difference between the Skink Skirmishers and their Chameleon Skink counterparts, but there are 2 of them there and there on the flanks. And I'm trying to think. Oh, yeah. And then over here, flying is going to be 2 of the Pterodon Riders with the Fire Leech Bolas. These are the ones that are going to be raining down basically what essentially is grenades. So it's really good against low armored, multiple stack units. And so they got 2 of those there. And then they brought a Skink Priest of the Heavens, also on a Pterodon, with, I believe, the entire complement of the Heaven line. So they got the Chain Lightning, they got the Comet Spell, they got the Thunderbolt, the Curse of the Midnight Wind, the Wind Blast, and Harmonic Convergence. Normally, you want to try and pick and choose what spells you want to make these things cheaper, because you're not going to have enough Winds of Magic to usually utilize all of these spells. But on top of that, they also took the passive so that my flying units, which would be the Skink Chiefs, will have lower melee defense and speed as long as this unit is on the field. So that's going to be their flying force. Nice little flying force. Nice to see little Pterodons out there. And then they also brought 2 Kroxigors like me. It's very similar setup. 2 Kroxigors like I did, 1 on each flank. But then over here, they brought the Cold One Spear Riders. These are the anti-large and armor-piercing Cold One Cav, but I just don't like Cold One Cav. But I guess these are okay. Actually, yeah, these are okay. These don't come with Rampage? I missed that. The horned ones have Rampage, but I guess the Spear Riders don't. Huh. You know what? They may not actually be half bad then. Rampage just makes Cav terrible. I never really noticed that. I just assumed all cold ones had Rampage. I have not utilized their Cav that much, because again, I don't like Rampage on Cav, but that's actually not bad. Their melee stats are something left to be desired, but, I may have to give these more of a shot. I think they're around 1,000 in cost. Interesting. Because armor piercing and anti-large on a Cav unit is pretty good. I wish their melee attack was a little higher, but on the charge they can still do a pretty good amount of damage, and against large creatures that melee attack's going to shoot to a 34. Huh. Yeah, they may not actually be that bad. I'm just kind of, okay. Still learning the game, everybody. Obviously, I thought they had Rampage, and they don't. But that's going to be the enemy Lizard army. And I'm actually going to be facing off against them first. So it's going to be Lizard on Lizard and High Elf on High Elf. For the orange High Elf player, we'll call it, because their banner is in orange, they have a total of the 3 Phoenix Guards, the super tanky and really good halberd infantry of the High Elves, and they just look awesome. I've said it before, but they're like the epitome of high fantasy, because, I mean, look at these helmets. It's just, oh, they're so cool. I love the Phoenix Guard. And this player brought 3 of them. Their front line is going to be made up of 4 of the generic spearmen. Very nice and tanky spears of the High Elves. Nothing super special, but they're still really good for the price. Behind those, we're going to have a line of 4 of the normal archers, I believe. Yes. When I say normal archers, I mean that they are not the light armored version, because light armor comes with 40 armor instead of 15, so these are slightly cheaper, but still really good high elf archers. Behind those is the 3rd Phoenix Guard and their leader, Teclis, which they brought the Net of Ammontok and Flock of Doom as their 2 spells, and then they also brought the ability to summon those 2 Phoenixes, which is really good, and then the passive of the Shield of Sapphire, but they did not take the other passes, because I believe Teclis has access to 3 different ones, but they only decided to bring the one for the High Lord. So that's something. For the rest of the leadership, they have a noble that is not mounted on anything, which I think the nobles are really cool. I love the nobles. This little halberd infantry unit, I think they're great. I really like the high elves. And again, I didn't think I was going to, but I think they're pretty cool. And then the rest for their ground forces are going to be 2 dragon princes on this flank over there. And I don't think they have any artillery. No, they do not. But flying above the army is going to be 2 of the Phoenixes. We have the Flamespire Phoenix and the Frostheart Phoenix. So the Frostheart Phoenix is more focused on kind of tankiness, because they have a higher melee defense. They also provide an aura around them that lowers melee attack, I believe. Let me get on here. There we go. -9 melee attack and -10% armor piercing damage. They do not have the 10 rounds of bombardment that their cousin, the Flamespire Phoenix, has. But the Flamespire Phoenix, if we can get the stats on there, is kind of meant for different roles. The Flamespire Phoenix does not have as much in kind of like the melee stats. But, oh my god, I'm looking at Lord Masamudi. Look at the dang flame. There we go. So you can see their stats are not as good as their kind of older cousin. Their armor is a lot less as well, but they do have the trade-off of getting the 10 rounds of the bombardment spell, which can be really good, and they are super fast. You can see this one is 120, so it can catch up to almost any unit in the game, while this one is going to be only 100. So this one is supposed to be, it's like you kind of like stick them into the bulk of the fighting, so you can lower melee attack of units around it, and this one is supposed to be just flying around, dropping bombs everywhere, and then, you know, joining the attack on probably either weak units or kind of teaming up with its cousins or anything else. So both of those, I think, are great units. I think you'll probably see more of the Flamespire Phoenix just because of its more offensive orientation with the 10 bombardment spells that it has, but I think both are good. And then, oh, I didn't speak too much about the Dragon Cav, but the Dragon Prince is really solid, generic Cav. I don't think they're super special for the price, but they at least look pretty cool. So they have that going for them. Still beasts on the charge. It's just like compared to the other Cav we've seen in this game for Warhammer 1, they're just, I don't think they're really that super special. And then over here, for the last High Elf player with the very, very pretty formation, we have 4 Spearmen, 2 Archers, 2 Lothran Sea Guard here and in the forest, 2 White Lions, 2 Phoenix Guards. You see a pattern here. 2 Silver Helms, which are like the tier down from the Dragon Princes. These are the unshielded versions, so they do not have as much melee defense nor armor block chance, but I still think they're pretty good generic shock cav for the price. Again, nothing really special about the High Elf cav at all. They're just generic and solid. We'll say that they're solid. So they have 2 Silver Helms, and then they also brought one of these Sword Masters of Hoeth, the very brutal anti-infantry great swords that look awesome, and they're cool. In front of those is going to be 1 unit of the Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower. We've seen this multiple times. And then for their leadership, they brought the Lore Master of Hoeth, which I think they brought most of the spells. Yeah, they brought like all of the spells, including some of the passives, which includes the Evasion, which grants them 5 melee defense and additional speed. They also, of course, have the Martial Prowess, but that's not unique to him because every elf has that. And then they're being led by Tyrion, who I think I skipped over somewhere over here. There you are. Tyrion on a horse with... Actually, they didn't bring any of his unique items. His regen item, he has a regen item and an item that grants him 2 charges of a breath spell. But they opted just to grab Stand Your Ground, and then Feint and Riposte, which is the self buff. But yeah, he could also get 2 additional items, but they did not bring that. And that is going to be this High Elf army, I think. Yeah. So they brought like 2 of almost every unit, and then just 1 Swordmaster, 1 Eagle Claw, and then the leadership. And there we go. Alright, everybody. Let's get the battle started. So initially, I am going to be moving my forces, and I want to try and get into this little choke point and start assaulting this High Elf player with our Bastiladons. And I'm going to try and target their archers because their archers are low armor. So the very high missile damage of the Bastiladon that's, again, not really focused on armor piercing can do a lot of damage to those archers, and I kind of just want to take them out, so that's the plan. So we're going to try and get into this little gap over here. My Skink Force, I'm going to move up a little bit, and the Chameleons are also going to move up a little bit. But I am going to pull them back here when I notice that this Lizardman army is going to start marching towards me and start shooting me in the back with their Bastiladons. So I think we take like a shot or 2 over here, but then we're going to have to actually pull back our army. For the most part, there's going to be kind of a standoff between the 2 High Elf players who are eventually going to duel. This High Elf player is going to march into this gap right here, and then they're just going to allow themselves to get hit by the Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower, which is going to move up into position here and just start raining death on this High Elf army. I think they're going to mostly focus on the Noble Lord that the enemy has. And they're just going to be kind of standing off for a while. There's not going to be too much happening over here for a little bit, so we're just going to focus on the lizard hate over here. So as you can see here, I'm like, well, screw this. I'm not going to get stuck in between a High Elf and a lizard army right here in this choke point and die. So I'm going to pull back my forces, and we're going to try and hold a line right here. Meanwhile, over here, the 2 Cold One Spear Riders are getting into position to try and ambush us from the forest. I did not even see them because I was only focused on the High Elf, so I had no idea that they had Spear Riders before they went into the forest there. But we will find out here pretty soon. Still not getting some nice shots on the Saurus Warriors. I think I'm going to hit them with the Revivification Crystal. Most of my charges of the Revivification is going to actually go to the Dinos like Croxagores, my other Bastiladons, my Feral Carnosaur. But sometimes my Saurus Warriors will get some love. My two Bastiladons are going to start trying to snipe out these Pterodon Riders. I'm going to get my Skink Chiefs up here to try and snipe them out as well. There goes the Ruination of Cities on the Saurus Warriors. Not really doing too much. It does better when the units are very tightly positioned. And then I'm going to follow up with a Banishment, which again is not going to do too much. I should really save these spells for when the enemy is, again, in a tight formation and probably in melee combat. You can see this one Saurus Warrior is taking a massive amount of damage from their two Bastiladon with Solar Engine. I'm going to be pulling up our Chameleon Skinks up here to also try and help against the Skink Priest of Heavens and the Pterodon Riders. I want to try and knock out their Air Force really quick, and this is when their ambush of the Cold One Riders are going to be coming out. They're going to try and focus on Mazdamuni. We're going to run interference with the Saurus Warriors. We're going to pull over our Pharaoh Carnosaur, our Croxagores, to try and make sure that Mazdamuni does not take any of that Cold One damage. You can see we got our Saurus Warriors there in time, and now we're just going to respond by pouncing on them. We're going to also net them in place, so that they cannot escape from the horror that is about to befall upon them, separating the crosscourse from them as well. And we're just going to go to town on these two cold ones, and we're just going to overwhelm them with numbers, even throwing in a Skink cohort there. As our Skink Chiefs and the Chameleon Skinks are finishing up their Air Force, you can see we've already routed off their Skink Priest of Heavens. And we're just doing a massive amount of damage to the cold ones with spears. Over here, you're going to see that standoff I was talking about. The Eagle Claw Bolt Throwers just firing at their Noble. Soon, Teclis will march forward and actually cast a Flame Phoenix spell, I believe, on these spears. These two of the Phoenixes, they were going to threaten this High Elf player, but now they're actually going to fall back, and they will then come back later and go for this flank at some later time. The enemy Lizard player is going to send this very small detachment over here to fight the High Elf units that are just kind of stationed here in this choke point. So I'm going to be like, well, that's fine. I'm going to focus on Krokar, who is initiating the charge. What we're going to be doing is hitting him with the Skink Chief to lower his stats with poison, and then also hitting him with the Bastiladons with solar energy to blind him on top of that to try and minimize the amount of damage that Krokar deals. We're going to be netting the rest of his Saurus Warriors that are coming in to reinforce him, because I really want to try and isolate and kill him first. And again, Skink Chief and the Bastiladons are going to be firing on him, and you can see that his melee stats are suffering. For a brief moment there, it was 26 melee attack, which sucks for Krokar. So I'm trying to keep him debuffed as long as possible. Going to throw in our Crocscores over here to try and fight against these Saurus Warriors. Our other Crocscore will be coming in. They chased off one of those Cold One Spear Riders, but they will be coming back here soon. We have routed off most of their Air Force. They will come back, but they have been heavily damaged. There you can see the enemy is going to be pulling off their Revivification Crystal over here to try and support their Skink Skirmishers who've been chased by some White Lions. This engagement is kind of a poor decision. It's going really bad for the Lizardman player because they're outnumbered. I'm still just going to be focused on trying to rout these three Saurus Warriors. The Typicar's just kind of hanging out back here. Chameleon Skinks on Krokar, Bastiladon's on Krokar, and again he is suffering from it. Over here we just got Rampaging Crocscores on Rampaging Saurus Warriors, because Rampage sucks. And we have finally managed to rout off Krokar. He will come back, I believe, around here. And we are rounding off most of the Saurus Warriors. We're going to be throwing in our Saurus Warriors into the Temple card. There went our second Banishment to try and help rout them. You can see we're throwing in a Skink Kill Horde to try and help finish off these Croxagars, and they are going to start routing. Let's see, at this point, the spear line that was devoted over here did get hit by that Phoenix spell from Teclis, so that made this enemy player charge the Orange High Elf, and they're going to charge Tyrion right into the spear line, and Tyrion is going to have to fight these archers, this noble, these spears, basically by himself. White Lions are going to be going on this flank against the spearmen. They should do pretty well right there. And then the Silver Helms are going to get netted over here by Teclis, and then charged by the Dragon Princes, which is not going to be a good thing for the Silver Helms. Silver Helms are shock caps, so they kind of rely on their charge. And Tyrion is just going to get destroyed. Because he charged into a bunch of anti-large and an anti-large focused noble, so he's getting crushed. These archers here are going to be getting hit with the second Phoenix spell from Teclis very soon. Two of those Phoenixes, like I said, they did come back, and they're now engaging against the archers over here because their melee forces went off to chase the Lizardman who retreated from here. Speaking about the Lizardman army, we are now on cleanup detail. We are just finishing up what remains of the lizards. We still have the Skink Priest, which we will take care of here soon. Crocscores, which we will take care of soon. Krokar is going to join this fight and then go into some Phoenix card, which is not a great decision for him. But we're going to be chasing him with some of our forces. And you can see this enemy Lizardman player, for the most part, has been destroyed. They just have a unit here and there, but we have them vastly outnumbered. So now we're going to be throwing in some Source Warriors to try and assist against this. Well, not assist, but just kill these High Elves and finish off Krokar. I think I also throw in another spell over here. A Ruination of Cities, maybe? Oh, no. I'm going to throw it in on this flank right here. So the other Silver Helm that the blue player has is going to be thrown in against these Flamespire Phoenix and the Frost Hearts Phoenix. They kind of are really bunched up here. They don't really need all those units there, including their Lore Master. So, well, I mean, you do what you do. Over here, the Archer line already got hit by Teclis's Phoenix. I'm sorry you missed that, but it just went and just did a lot of damage. And so now they're, I guess, charging Lothran Seaguard into this High Elf player. So the Silver Helms got isolated and destroyed. Tyrion got isolated and destroyed. Lothran Seaguard isolated and destroyed. So all they really have over here is the White Lions, but they're breaking because their leadership is gone. And they're just getting overwhelmed by this High Elf player. So this player splitting up their forces definitely did not really work out well for them, although right now they are currently in second place. The problem is they're going to be knocked out of this game pretty soon the way that this is going, and the other High Elf player is not that far behind, so it's a good chance that they're going to rack up some more points against me because we're going to be duking it out. So at this point, we finally managed to rout the rest of the lizards, including Krokar. My Pharaoh Carnosaur has gone rampage, so it's going to be chasing people way out here. These Source Warriors are going to be chasing people way out here as well. This is when I'm going to be marching up Mazdamundi. I'm going to try and hit a Ruination of Cities on this massive group of units. And the blue elf player is just having a pretty bad day. Their Phoenix Guard kind of arrived pretty late, so now they're going to be isolated and focused down with archers. Silver Helm's coming over here as well to try... Actually, I'm sorry. No, that's Dragon Princes. My bad. Because that's the orange. The Silver Helms over here I think are actually dead at this point, because they were over here and died to the Dragon Princess. The other Silver Helm is still over here, and about to get hit with a Ruination of Cities. Also, I'm trying to snipe the Phoenixes with my Bastillodons. Do as much damage as we can. It's a lot of good damage there. I'm going to follow up with the Common Castadoria, but unfortunately, it's going to miss because this unit, or this enemy routed, so they're not going to stand there and take it. Very unfortunate. This hits nothing, just a waste of mana. So the orange player is just kind of cleaning up what remains of the blue player on this flank, and then they're going to push forward. Oh my god, they had a Phoenix Guard back here? I guess one of their Phoenix Guard maybe walked through the forest? I must have missed that. Or maybe they just walked right through here, I'm not entirely sure. But this is a very fresh unit of Phoenix Guard. Not much left for the blue elf except for these Sword Masters and the Lore Master and this pocket of resistance here. So I'm going to be coming up, sniping them in the back. Instead of actually pressing forward over here, I'm actually going to dip into the forest, and we're going to attack from this position there. And I'm looking at what remains on the field, and all I'm seeing is a bunch of spear icons and halberd icons, and I'm just like, oh no. Because most of my forces are, you know, dinos, so Phoenix Guards do pretty well against big dinosaurs, so I'm kind of worried at this point. +2 almost full Dragon Princess is not good for me. But they are busy now finishing up the blue High Elf player before I get into position. So for my army, I think I still have all my Source Warriors. I think I have all my Skinks. Maybe we're down one Skink. But my forest, like, we've been injured a little bit, but we still have mostly everything. This Skink Chief is actually going to be chased by those two Phoenixes way out here. I'm just going to let that happen as we go into the forest. And there we go. The blue High Elf is now shattered at this point. And again, I want to attack from this position because honestly, I want to try and kill all these archers that are bunched up here. The enemy is seeing what I'm doing, so they're actually going to be spreading their archers over here and getting their spearmen and Phoenix Guard over there. I think I net them here. I want to try and keep them in the tightly packed area so we can just get all of our dinos in there and do their AoE damage. So we're all going to net them, and then the charge is going to come out from the forest. Source Warriors, followed up by Croc Scores, getting our Skink Priests, not Priests, sorry, Skink Chiefs above the army. Command Skink's going to get pulled into the forest to try and make sure that they don't get killed by the Dragon Riders, which are still finishing off the blue High Elves. And then the enemy Teclis is going to respond with a net of their own. Just nets galore. And then they're going to charge in. I want them to charge in and surround our Source Warriors before we get our dinos in there. Here come the Phoenixes. Now they're going to come back into the fight. I'm going to get my Skink Chief over here, but it's going to take a while for the second Skink Chief to come back. And there's really not much of a good target for these Kroxigors unless we can kind of get around all of these spears. You can see he's being chased by the Phoenix Guard, so I'm going to run interference with these King Cohorts. So our King Cohort wave is coming in to try and support these Source Warriors. Still keeping my Dinos back. Kind of waiting to see what the enemy does with their Dragon Princes. They are going to pull them around and try and charge into the forest. So I'm hoping to try and isolate and destroy them there. Flock of Doom going down from Teclis. And now we're going to pounce on this Noble because he is by himself. The Phoenix Guard pulled back, so I see this as an opportunity. We are losing some of our skinks here. Source Warriors rampaging in the middle of all of these Phoenix Guard. Now I was really hesitant because I didn't really want to charge the Phoenix Guard, but eventually I'm just going to be like, you know what, screw it. We're just going to charge them and then charge through them. We're eventually going to try and hit their archers over here as well. But the thing is, their archers are almost out of ammunition, but I still want to kill them because they are worth points, and they are easy points because they can't really fight back that well compared to Phoenix Guard, that is. So here we go. We're just trying to still isolate and destroy the Noble. Here come those Dragon Princes to try and do rear charges, but we still have Dinos waiting for them. This is why I was keeping some of them in here, including my Pharaoh Connoisseur. At this point, I lost my patience, so that's why I'm starting to charge out, but I will get these units back into the forest and try and kill these Dragon Princes. Skin Chief should be coming back. Source Warrior should be coming back over here. Another Flock of Doom going down. Doesn't really do too much to our single units, but it still will hurt our skinks and sources that are in their area. So you can see that the enemy is going to just keep their spears in there, try and bog us down, buy time for the Phoenix Guard, I guess, to rest up maybe a little bit. Over here, our Pharaoh Connoisseur and our Kroxigors are trying to destroy this one Dragon Prince, doing a lot of good damage to them in the forest. I don't believe our Pharaoh Connoisseur has any penalties in a forest, but the Dragon Princes do. Which is why I wanted to fight them in the forest. Over here, Mazamuni is going to be leading the charge, and I'm going to try and get him into these archers here soon. Phoenix Guard are going to be pouring in to try and stop us, but we're just going to go bloop, 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 and right through them. Bastillodons are going to be kind of spread out. We're going to have one solar engine over here. I think the other one's going to be going in over here. Going to net the enemy in place again to try and buy as much time for Mazamuni to be over here with the Skink Chiefs and try and kill these archers. Our Skink Chiefs at this point are almost out of ammunition, so we're going to use them in melee. Getting our other Bastillodon over there too to try and get more damage. My other solar engine is eventually, I think, going to pierce the Phoenix Guard and go into these. And you can see that we have utterly destroyed one of the Phoenix Guards with our Pharaoh Connoisseur and our Kroxigors, which is exactly what we wanted. So one of them is down, but the other Dragon Prince is still healthy out here. They pulled out before we could kill them. And now we're going to be piling in all of our Bastillodons over here to try and isolate and destroy this Phoenix Guard, which is kind of by itself. I guess there's two of them over there. We have to fight them, so we're going to fight them. And we're still getting some good damage over here with Mazdamundi and our two Skink Chiefs. Trying to kill as many archers as we can. And again, eventually I do get one of these Bastillodons over here into these archers. They're not really much of a threat, but I still want the points. As you can see, our points are not too far off. Like, I am in the lead, but that could change. Sorry, I was taking a drink of water. This is a lot of talking. So there we go. The Revivification Crystal is going to be the one sent into... never mind. Sent into the Dragon Princes? Okay, I'm going to go into the Dragon Princes, I guess. Oh, yeah, I remember. I was trying to deny them their charge bonus. That's why I'm trying to descend upon them and isolate and kill them right now. Because if they don't charge, they're not that amazing. Over here, my Chameleon Skinks are now out of ammunition, so we're just going to use them to pin the Phoenix Guard in place so they cannot be used to try and kill our dinosaurs. So right now we're trying to focus on these two Phoenix Guard, keep this one isolated. You can see all of my infantry and Kroxigors at this point are rampaging, including my Pharaoh Connoisseur, which luckily is rampaging into the Dragon Princes, so that is a thumbs up. That's great. And I'm going to use this as a time to try and isolate and kill Teclis. So we're going to start chasing Teclis through the archers, over and around, and just kind of around in a circle. I want to try and kill Teclis to see if we can waver the High Elf infantry because, like I said, they still have 3 Phoenix Guards, and I am very concerned. My infantry does not have many units left, and our dinos will get torn to pieces with Phoenix Guard. So you can see my Skink Chiefs trying to chase Teclis around. I think my Bastillodon goes into the archers at this point. One of our Chameleon Skinks, I think, routed and then came back, and so we're doing the other Chameleon Skink into the Phoenix Guard, trying to, again, cut them off from this massive melee that's going on over here. I'm still using the charges on my Revivification Crystal to try and just keep our Bastillodons up. Pharaoh is now free from rampaging, so we're going to try and stick him on Tekla. So I'm going to go bloop, because I can see where Tekla is running. Masamune is now back over here, still chasing the Dragon Princess, trying to do some good damage to them. And we're going to try and kill Tekla still. Meanwhile, this Bastiladon is just having a grand old time with these archers. As my infantry still is getting destroyed by the Phoenix Guard, but that's okay. Because the Phoenix Guard are working on my Source Warriors and Skinks. That means they're not working on my Dinos, which are out here killing more ideal targets. So trying to kill these archers. Then we're going to try and cut off Teklas. And we're going to get in between Masamundi and the Pharaoh Carnosaur and the Skink Chief. And he is not going to have a good day. And there he goes. Dragon Prince is going to do a nice root charge on what's left of our Source Warriors. Meanwhile, up here, I think I'm doing melee with the Frostheart Phoenix. The Flame one went down. I honestly don't remember. I had. Oh, there it is. So yeah, I remember I targeted the Phoenixes back when they came over my army with my 2 Solar Engine Bastiladons, and we must have sniped out the sky. So that was actually a while ago. But there we go. We have killed Tekla. So now I'm going to try and get Masamundi away from these Phoenix Guard. And we're going to try and get him over here, and we're going to try and consolidate all of our dinos, including our Pharaoh Carnosaur, on these archers. Because at this point, there are still a lot of Phoenix Guard left, and so really the only chance we have is if we can keep them knocked on the ground with all of the AoE damage that the dinos can do. So I'm going to try and, again, pull all of our dinos into one blob, and just pray, basically. That's the idea at this point. Because look how, like, our points are getting closer and closer. And if they get that last person standing bonus, that's GG. So it's a very close game, and they have a lot of anti-large left, and I'm just like, oh my god, Phoenix Guard. So I'm trying to just kill as many archers as I can, try to get as many points as I can. Because I'm not entirely sure if I can kill all the Phoenix Guard. So that's why we were trying to isolate these archers. Luckily, Phoenix Guard are very slow, and I'm trying to do my best to try and slow them down to the command schemes. I'm not entirely sure why they got a move order. I remember giving them an attack order here. There they go. They're going in again. I'm just trying to pin them down as long as I can. I think I only have 1 Skink Chief remaining. The other one is dead at this point. So this is kind of it. This is where the last stand is going to take place. We still have charges on the Revivification Crystal. I'm sure it's going down on the Pharaoh Carnosaur, I think, at this point, or will be. So that's the idea. The idea is we get into a giant blob and we just keep knocking these Phoenix Guard on their asses so they can't get that many attacks off. You see we've routed the archers and the Dragon Princess. Phoenix Guard routing. Dragon Princess coming back. And then it says Valiant Defeat. And this confused me in the game as well, because the game did end here, and I was like, wait, what? I didn't shatter. The High Elf player didn't shatter, and I had more points than they did. So, like, what the hell happened here? But at the end screen, you can see that I did, in fact, win the game. So, I don't know what happened. Maybe the player left the game at that point. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure why they said Valiant Defeat, because I clearly had the point lead, and I think I was going to win that anyway, but good God, that was a close game. Oh, that was a very, very... very close game. Masamune netting 200 kills. Our Croc score is getting a ton of kills. Bastiladon's doing really well. They're so good. Like the Pharaoh Bastiladons is what 750 for such a massive bulking brute of an anti-infantry armor piercing unit. It's insane. But also, I'm gonna take this moment to say that I think the lizards are my least favorite. I just don't think they're that fun. Too many of their units go on rampages pretty easily. I don't like that. They don't really have too many ways of playing, I feel. They just kind of have the dinos, and they have the Source Warriors. They're cool. I think they're effective. I think they're well balanced. I just don't think they're that interesting. I'm kind of curious to know your thoughts as well, if you think the lizards are very fun. Like, listen, dinos are awesome. It's just, it's kind of... I don't know. It's like they have a lot of units, but I just don't feel like they're that varied. It's just like, what dinosaur do you want? Do you want a Pharaoh Bastiladon? Do you want a Bastiladon with a laser? Do you want a Bastiladon with a Revivification Crystal? Do you want a Stegodon instead? Do you want an Ancient Stegodon? Do you want a normal Stegodon? Like, it's just they have like a core set of units, and then they just have multiple variants of them, but that doesn't really lead to that much varied gameplay. I don't know. It's I just don't really like the lizards, and I really thought I would coming into the game, and I just don't. So let me know if you like lizards or not. For Hell Jumper, the person that came in second place, their Phoenix Guard wrecked, their archers wrecked, their Dragon Princes wrecked. Most of their army actually did really well at killing the other high elf player of Wasabi Jones, who was split and just murdered. Ran Tyrion by himself into a noble, backed up by a bunch of spears and archers, so Tyrion's pretty good, but he doesn't even have a shield on a horse, I don't believe. So he has no missile block chance, and he just got destroyed. And then for a bald leprechaun charging me in the back, sneaky, sneaky, they paid the price for it. We were able to destroy their forces. We kind of neutered Krokar there with our blind and our poison from the Skin Chief and the Bastillodon, so we managed to knock him out relatively quickly before he did too much. And yeah, we got those cold ones by themselves, so they didn't have too much of a chance there. But I hope you enjoyed the match, everybody, and let's watch a cinematic view of this battle. Before we get started, I just want to let you know that I've turned on Alliance coloring for the cinematic view here because it's be kind of hard to know who is who. So I'm going to be the yellow lizards, the enemy will be the red lizards, and then unfortunately both high elves are also red, but either way they'd be the same color. So yeah, anyway, let's get this started. Farewell, pterodons. I kind of like these skinks lore, maybe? With the Alliance coloring? I like the color pattern. That is quite a knockback these Crocscores have. Look at that. I see that flying sword go the other way. Whoa. Whoop. Alright, went a little far there. Yeah, you can see he doesn't have a shield, so he's just getting destroyed. He does have a lot of armor, but still, like, this is a lot of damage. God, poor Tyrion. Look at that damage. They look really cool. Little skinks! The sound of that solar engine beam flying right past the camera, that sounds pretty cool. That was from our skink chief up here. There you are, you beautiful thing. I think this is one of my favorite parts of the Lizard faction, is a flying skink chief. Oh, a little friendly fire there. You didn't see that. And these Phoenix Guard, man, they just hold. And hold. And hold. Curious to see an elite elf line versus a line of chosen. Then we have the last of Tyrion's army, Phoenix Guard, in here somewhere. I don't know which one's Tyrion. Probably the one routing off the field right now. The last remaining sword masters. Ooh, right in the back of the head. Hey, there goes the Flamespower Phoenix. So now I know when to die. Oh, what the? Oh, shit! Straight up like an alligator. Or a crocodile. Do both those species do it? I don't know. Will they just twist the body? Oh my god, that was cool. Alright, Croxadors are worth it. That's an awesome death animation. Holy shit. That's the first time I've seen that. That is awesome. I want to see you do it again. Dance for me, Croxadors. Eat somebody. That was awesome. That was so cool. Just let me see it again. Wait, there it is. Look at that shit. That's just so cool. I want to see them kill an enemy lord with that animation. The chances of that would be so rare, I'm sure. That would be so awesome. See them like eat up Grimgore. Oh shit, they're doing it again. Chomp chomp, Phoenix Guard. That's so cool. Croxicor has actually held up a long time considering they've been fighting anti-large Phoenix Guard for so long. Kind of surprising. Azamudi about to cut Teclis off. Get him in a Dino sandwich. He's like, wait, is that Teclis? What up, man? Oh, jeez, I can't even see him. Oh my god, oh, it's too hot for TV. Oh my god, we gotta blur that part out. God, Phoenix Guard are so good. If you can't kill them with artillery or by other means, oh man, they're so good in melee. Look at this place. The ski chief is actually picking people up like you do on Great Eagles. I missed it. There we go. So I hope you enjoyed this valiant defeat that was actually a win. And, ooh, very angry. And I will see you all in the next battle. Take care.